Hello everyone. Today I'd like to also talk to you about the way files are set up when you create a new file. There, I've been noticing that users are tending not to do all the steps necessary to make the file work well. So I'm going to start off by just saying I'm in a new file, and notice what your seed file is set to. So if I drag this over a little bit, it's going to default to the last one you picked, but probably by default it's going to start out with the 2D or the design 3D survey foot, because the default settings for the workspace are going to use design seed horizontal 3D survey foot. What does this do for you if you're working in survey files or bringing in a survey? This would really be a file that you'd start with if you're working with survey feet. If you're working with international feet, then you'd probably be using this other one, design seed horizontal 3D international feet. If you're working with Open Roads Designer doing civil design, on the other hand, you're going to start with the 2D file. So if you're working with survey feet, it's going to be the design seed horizontal 2D survey foot. Or if you're working in an international foot setting, it would be design seed horizontal 2D international feet. So those four are your design seeds for horizontal work. If you're doing vertical work, so that would be architectural, anything that would be pertaining to the building, that type of stuff. That would be done with the Design Seed Vertical 3D International Foot. So this is your 3D model starting point. The other seed files that are in here are the drawing seeds. The drawing seeds are all 2D models, so if you're doing details, things like that, these are good ways to start out. So here's your drawing seed vertical international feet, drawing seed horizontal survey foot, or your drawing seed horizontal international foot. So those three are good starting points to either creating a sheet or for creating, detail, that type of work, 2D type work. The other things down here, these sheet seed files are designed to have the seed files automatically set up to have the correct borders, but these aren't seed files. Notice these say DGN lib. So this actually contains all of the borders in it. So anywhere from ANSI E all the way down to ANSI A. And then the borders that get referenced into it according to the AEC standards of how you assemble a file. And then if you're creating a new cell library, here's a good place to start with this AEC cell seed. And if you're creating a new DGN lib, here's a great place to start with that. So let's say I wanted to manually create a sheet. Well, the way I would start with doing that would be to come in and pick the drawing seed appropriate for my project. So I'm going to say vertical international feet for architectural type work that I'm working with. And then I would give it a name, and I'm going to throw it in my sheet folder, which is right there. And I'm going to give it a name according to the AEC uh, CAD standards for file naming. And for this, I'm just going to use demo as my project code. And then this is maybe going to be an architectural sheet, so A-101. And I say save. Notice this doesn't have a border in it yet, because what I need to do next is tell it which border to use. So if I come in and I hit my models button up here, then I can go new, create new, and then I'm going to create a new sheet from seed. And I'll look and see what the seed file is set up in here. By default, it's going to go to the Graphic Standards 2.1 Fields DGN lib and load the ANSI D border. So if everything is good for me there, then I can come in here and say create a new sheet. So that's going to be A-101. And I'm going to add the sheet to my index, and I'm going to select the folder that it's going to go into. And since I'm working in the template, it's going to be this AEC template English. The AEC sheet indexes, the idea is to have everything in there, but for your project you may want to delete out a bunch of the folders that you're never going to use. But since this is going to be A101, I'm going to expand the architectural, and then I'm going to go to the A dashes, and then I'm going to pick, and this is taking a little while, and then I'm going to pick the plans, and then I'm going to hit OK. And then when I hit OK again, that's going to create my fields model, and when I close that, it's A101. So that would be how you would do with fields. If you're working with tags, you would need to pick a different border. So if I was attaching one with tags, I would come over here and hit the tags GS1, GS2-1 tags DGN lib. And something they knew they added in here is this GS2-1 fields end tags DGN lib. So if you pull from this one, I think it's going to have both fields end tags in it. So depending on how you're working, some places use tags for project-wise and title block integration. Some people use fields because they're working outside of project-wise. It makes their life a lot easier. And if you're using the old graphic standards, so you're bringing an old project forward, maybe you're going to be looking at these GS2-0 or fields or tags. More than likely, you're going to be tags if you're coming from Graphic Standards 2.0, because that was developed around V8i, and the fields with title blocks wasn't really designed in that software, that older software. So GS2-0 is kind of for bringing things forward. More than likely, you're going to use tags. And if you're working in 2-1, which is anything with connect, starting with connect, you're going to use one of these three, depending on your environment. If you're working with ProjectWise, it's probably going to be tags. If you're working with outside of ProjectWise on your network, it's probably going to be fields. And I'm just going to hit cancel because I'm not going to add another one there. But to kind of see what happened inside of your Explorer, there should be something in the sheet index that shows that there's a new file added, and underneath architectural there is a new sheet which is A101. So basically, if you're using the sheet index and fields, that kind of maps things out for you. I have another video that kind of shows the whole process of setting this up, but I've seen people want to use different processes that are a little bit simpler to use and just avoid using the creating the sheet index, and that's fine too. There's multiple ways to set this up, but for convenience, you know, that at least gets you in there quick, and if you want to go in and plot it later, this will open up Print Organizer with the files already in order if you place it in the sheet index in order. Right, thank you, bye.